Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about the fish philosophy and one of the four main elements from the book. Today I'm going to be talking about being present. Now, that doesn't just mean physically being present in the room talking to somebody, be that a friend, a colleague, a coworker, um, a customer even. It's about actively listening and being an active participant within the conversation being had. Now, I'm sure you've had a conversation where you understood that the person who you were talking to wasn't paying attention. And I'm sure you've also had conversations with individuals who were actively listening and being able to repeat information back to you and really gave you the impression that they cared about that conversation. Now, it can be very easy to simply listen, but there are times that I found that specifically within business, it's a lot easier to let those conversations get away from you. The first time that this really comes up for me is when I'm on conference calls. This is one of the most difficult times to actively listen for me because no one's around to watch. I can be on the computer, I can surf the web, I can check my emails, and sometimes I certainly do that. But what I notice as soon as I try and get back into that conversation, I've missed something. And I feel that because of that, the ability to truly connect to what's being said. It can also be embarrassing if you're called on and you don't have a frame of reference for what's being discussed, as well as if someone mentions something later and you're not able to refer back to it. The next type of situation that this comes up is in business meetings. I use my computer to take notes, and it can be very easy to switch back and forth between checking if I got an email and then going back to my notes. But every time you step away from that meeting and you do something else on your computer, check your phone, or even start to daydream, it can be very difficult to get back in, and there's always going to be something that you lose. And finally, it's the element of time when you're actually talking to someone one-on-one. When you are having a conversation, be that again with a coworker or even a customer, that you are not giving them your full and undivided attention, or you're even thinking about what you're going to say while they're talking. Specifically with the customer aspect, they certainly understand when people aren't paying attention to them. And it makes a big difference. And those conversations can lead directly to revenue, which is very important. And one of the main reasons why actively listening is important in those conversations. Outside of that, it just helps create better relationships if people understand that you truly care about what they're saying. So now that I've recognized that I definitely have an issue where I want to make sure I get better, when I am having conversations with people one-on-one, I try to repeat information back. And that includes introduce themselves, repeating back their name, if they're talking about a particular subject, making sure that if I ask a follow-up question or I discuss something else, that I reference something that they mentioned. I do the same at a business meeting, making sure that if I am taking notes, when I'm not taking notes, that I sit back from my computer and looking and engaging with the person who's speaking. And then during a teleconference, which again, as I mentioned, is the most difficult, I like to simply just close my eyes when I'm not either writing a note or just needing to listen, so that I know that I'm giving my full attention to the person who's speaking and that I'm more able to interact and engage in those conversations. I think that every individual needs to come up with their own tactic for being able to stay engaged and be present. So I would encourage you to find your own way. I hope this blog has given you some motivation to think about this topic. I hope you've enjoyed.